In the heart of the African savannah, a golden-maned lion stands tall, eyes scanning the horizon. Thousands of miles away, deep within the shadowed jungles of India, a massive Bengal tiger moves like a ghost between the trees, silent, precise, deadly. They are the ultimate predators of their realms, symbols of strength, courage, and primal dominance. They have ruled their separate kingdoms for millennia, but they have never faced each other in nature. Now imagine a clash. Two apex hunters, one battleground, no escape. Who would triumph in a battle of raw power, strategy, and will? The fearless lion or the solitary tiger? This is not just a fight. It's a legend brought to life. Throughout history, humans have been captivated by the idea of the ultimate beast. In ancient scrolls, in whispered tales around fires, and in stone carvings lost to time, one question has echoed through generations. What happens when the lion meets the tiger? Lions, with their royal manes and thunderous roars, have long symbolized leadership and courage. Tigers, elusive and immense, have represented raw power and mysterious elegance. From the palaces of Indian emperors to the forums of ancient Rome, these two predators have inspired awe, reverence, and fierce debate. Roman emperors, obsessed with showcasing nature's fiercest spectacles, occasionally pitted lions and tigers against each other in blood-soaked arenas. These brutal contests, often staged for entertainment, were part myth-making, part massacre. The records are scarce, the outcomes debated, but the fascination endured. Centuries later, the debate resurfaced in the courts of Mughal India, where tigers were revered as near-mythical creatures. Paintings from this era often depicted lions and tigers in combat, not merely as a contest of strength, but as a metaphor for earthly balance and divine justice. In modern times, the question has taken on a digital life. Forums, documentaries, even fantasy battle simulations pit lion against tiger, analyzing every angle, from muscle mass to bite force, from fighting style to heart. But despite all the stories, the legends, and the simulations, the truth remains elusive. Nature has kept these two warriors apart, each a king in their own right, reigning over lands they were born to rule. And so we ask again, not just with curiosity, but with reverence for what each animal represents. What happens when power meets pride? When the silent shadow confronts the golden roar? The battle is only just beginning. The lion, a symbol of nobility, dominance, and unrelenting courage. Known as the king of beasts, his crown is not just his magnificent mane, but the power, presence, and pride he commands. A fully grown male lion can weigh up to 500 pounds, with a muscular frame sculpted for raw power and stamina. His iconic mane, thick, dark, and imposing, is more than decorative. It's a natural armor, cushioning the neck and shoulders in battle, making it harder for rivals or predators to land a fatal bite. In the wild, it also signals maturity and virility, an evolutionary advertisement of strength that can intimidate enemies before a single blow is struck. Unlike the solitary tiger, the lion thrives within a complex society, the pride. It's this social structure that turns lions into seasoned fighters. Territorial disputes, mating rights, and dominance struggles ensure that most male lions grow up fighting, not once or twice, but constantly. They spar as cubs, clash as adolescents, and wage brutal battles as adults to claim or defend their place in the hierarchy. Coalitions, often formed by brothers or close males, are the lion's secret weapon. These alliances allow males to overthrow dominant pride leaders and hold territory more effectively. Working together, they defend vast stretches of savanna, chase off rival males, and protect the pride's cubs from danger. In these moments, the lion becomes more than just a fighter. He's a strategist,
a guardian, a ruler. But perhaps what sets the lion apart most is his endurance. Built for strength over long periods, the lion doesn't rely on stealth or a single decisive strike. His battles are prolonged, roaring, slashing contests of stamina and willpower. He's used to fighting opponents just like him, experienced, strong, and determined to win. These constant tests shape the lion into a battlefield veteran. Scarred, tested, and unbroken, he becomes a living weapon forged by the brutal demands of pride life. Every fight strengthens his resolve. Every roar asserts his dominance. But how does this warrior fare against a silent assassin, one who fights alone, and never for the same reasons? But how does this warrior fare against a silent assassin, one who fights alone, and never for the same reasons? If the lion is the battlefield general, then the tiger is the silent assassin. He moves with ghost-like precision through bamboo thickets and jungle shadows, a master of concealment and controlled violence. Alone he hunts. Alone he survives. And alone he rules. The Bengal tiger, the largest of all big cats, can weigh up to 600 pounds, with some Siberian subspecies pushing past 700. But size isn't his only weapon. It's the way that mass is distributed, rippling muscle under sleek fur, honed for sudden explosive action. His limbs are built for power and spring-loaded strikes, and his paws carry claws that can rake flesh in a heartbeat. His jaw, armed with long canines, delivers bone-crushing force, a death sentence with one clean bite to the throat or spine. Unlike the lion, who gains strength in numbers, the tiger refines his deadliness in solitude. Every meal he earns is a product of patience and planning. He stalks silently, calculating angles, wind direction, distance. And when the moment arrives, he doesn't hesitate. A blur of orange and black bursts from the shadows, striking with such speed and impact that most prey never sees him coming. This ambush instinct carries over into conflict. While lions engage in loud, roaring dominance battles, tigers favor short, intense bursts. A calculated leap, a precise swipe, a brutal bite. They don't waste energy. Their fights are fast and lethal. And make no mistake, tigers fight. Despite being solitary, male tigers often face off against rivals in brutal, one-on-one territorial battles. With no pride to back them, every fight is personal. Every inch of ground is earned. These clashes can leave deep scars or end in death. There's no safety net in the tiger's world. Victory is survival. But perhaps the tiger's greatest weapon is his adaptability. Whether navigating snowy forests or dense mangroves, he remains a master predator, attuned to his environment, unmatched in stealth, and terrifying in close quarters. When a tiger fights, he fights with the cold precision of a ghost warrior. No warning, no hesitation, no retreat. So now the stage is nearly set. One fights with the power of a pride. The other strikes with the silence of the wild. What happens when these two worlds collide? When it comes to the psychology of predators, the mind can be as dangerous as the muscle. Beneath the teeth and claws lies a core of instinct, shaped by environment, experience, and evolution. The lion is a creature forged by confrontation. Raised in a social structure where dominance must constantly be asserted, male lions learn to fight young and often. They challenge rivals, test siblings, and battle for mates. With a pride behind them, brothers, lionesses, even cubs, lions grow bolder, more willing to initiate conflict. This environment builds a confrontational mindset. Stand your ground, roar louder, strike first. When lions see a threat, they don't circle, they charge. It's not recklessness. It's confidence backed by numbers, territory, and legacy. The tiger, on the other hand, walks a different path. As a solitary hunter,
The tiger cannot afford unnecessary risks. Every injury threatens his survival. He doesn't have a coalition to fall back on. No pride, no backup, no second chance. This doesn't make him cowardly, it makes him calculating. A tiger will avoid a fight unless he knows he can win. He studies his opponent, gauges weaknesses, and looks for the perfect moment. His stealth is not just for hunting prey. It's a way of life. In combat, this creates a mindset of patience and precision. Strike only when success is certain. Disappear if it's not. So who starts the fight? More often than not, the lion. Conditioned by years of defending pride and territory, a lion is more likely to take a threat head-on. The tiger, meanwhile, may wait or vanish into the shadows if the risk outweighs the reward. But if the tiger must fight, he fights to end it quickly. In the end, psychology is as critical as size or strength. One predator is fueled by dominance and pride, the other by survival and lethal calculation. In a one-on-one duel, that difference could decide everything. Where a battle takes place can shape how it unfolds and who emerges victorious. For lions and tigers, their environments are not just homes, but extensions of their strength, instincts, and survival strategies. The lion rules the open savannah, a vast, sun-scorched landscape where visibility is high and cover is minimal. It's a world of endurance and presence. Here, dominance is declared in broad daylight. Roars echo for miles. Confrontations are open, loud, and direct. This environment favors the lion's personality and strategy, confrontational, fearless, backed by territory and a sense of command. The open space allows him to leverage stamina and size, to circle a foe, to intimidate, to fight in full view without the need for stealth. Every movement is part of a display, and in this arena, the lion thrives. The tiger's world, by contrast, is a realm of shadows and silence. Dense jungles, tangled undergrowth, and narrow pathways define the terrain. Here, every tree is a shield, every shadow a potential ambush point. This is where the tiger's mastery of stealth comes alive, an environment tailored for surprise, agility, and ambush. In the jungle, vision is limited. Speed and timing matter more than raw power. It's a place where one well-timed strike can end a battle before it truly begins, and where the tiger reigns supreme. Now imagine placing these two in a neutral setting, a zoo enclosure, a Roman arena, or a man-made pit. Suddenly, neither predator has the home field advantage. The lion loses the space to maneuver and assert dominance. The tiger loses the shadows that hide his approach. It becomes a pure test of instinct, muscle, and will. And that's the tragedy of hypothetical battles in captivity. They strip away the wild, the context that defines each animal's greatness. It's not just lion versus tiger, it's savannah versus jungle, sunlight versus shadow, roar versus silence. In their natural worlds, each is king. But take away the world, and you take away the crown. Though lions and tigers live on separate continents, and their paths never cross in the wild, humans have long been obsessed with forcing them into confrontation. In captivity, the question of who would win has been answered not with theories, but with blood. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, in circuses, private zoos, and even gladiator-style pits, lions and tigers were pitted against one another. The results? Mixed, unpredictable, and tragic. In the 1800s, the famous animal trainer Mathieu Piquet recounted an incident in which a Bengal tiger swiftly killed a lion in a French menagerie. The tiger, reportedly younger and more agile, used its speed and precision to outmaneuver the heavier lion. But in another case, at the Bellevue Zoo in England, an adult lion killed a tiger during a territorial dispute in their shared enclosure.
In many circus environments, tigers often came out ahead, especially when matched one-on-one. Trainers noted their explosive power and solo combat experience. However, lions were also observed to display unmatched tenacity, fighting even when injured, refusing to retreat. In one of the most cited cases, a tiger named Gunga at an American zoo fatally injured a lion in the 1930s, reportedly using a rapid series of swipes and bites to the neck before the lion could mount a proper defense. The tiger's solo fighter mentality, striking fast and finishing clean, proved lethal. But in other accounts, especially when male lions were slightly larger or older, the outcome shifted. Factors like age, size, health, and temperament had massive influence. A 500-pound lion in his prime would be an entirely different challenge than a subadult or aging one. The same goes for tigers. It's also important to consider that many of these animals were not in peak condition. Stress from captivity, poor diets, and lack of space affected both species. In such unnatural environments, what we're witnessing isn't a fair test of dominance, but a distortion of it. Ultimately, there is no consistent victor. Every encounter recorded was shaped by its unique context, the setting, the animal's conditions, and chance. Perhaps that's the truth behind the legend, not that one is greater than the other, but that they were never meant to meet. In the age of internet debates and YouTube simulations, the lion versus tiger battle has become more mythology than biology. The tiger always wins, some claim, pointing to muscle mass and ambush power. Others swear the lion is the king, nothing stands against him. But strip away the drama, and a more nuanced truth emerges. One common myth is that tigers are stronger, faster, and smarter, and therefore always win in a one-on-one fight. It's true that tigers often outweigh lions, especially Siberian and Bengal subspecies, sometimes reaching over 600 pounds. Their limbs are thick with muscle, and their bite force is tremendous. But size isn't everything, and power isn't just measured in raw strength. On the other side, many assume lions only win in groups, implying they lack individual fighting skill. That's far from the truth. Intra-pride conflict among male lions is brutal and frequent. Males fight for dominance, territory, and mates. These aren't staged battles, they're survival. A male lion earns his pride by defeating challengers, often after multiple duels. This creates seasoned, battle-tested fighters. Wildlife biologists like Craig Packer and Dr. John Vardy have long emphasized that comparing these animals outside of their ecological context is misleading.
You're dealing with two apex predators adapted to completely different worlds, Packer noted. One isn't better, just different. Zookeepers and big cat specialists echo this, noting that both species exhibit intelligence, aggression, and remarkable adaptability. The media, however, often distorts this reality. Documentaries and online videos cherry-pick data or dramatize rare incidents to boost views. AI-generated fights, CGI simulations, and exaggerated animations push the idea of a clear winner, a definitive champion. But that sells a story, not science. In truth, the outcome of any lion-tiger fight depends on countless factors: size, age, health, temperament, past injuries, the fight setting, and pure chance. A larger tiger may dominate a younger lion. A seasoned lion may overpower an inexperienced tiger. One might land a perfect strike or make a fatal mistake. The myth demands a winner. Nature doesn't. In their own realms, each reigns supreme. The lion, noble, fearless, forged by brotherhood. The tiger, silent, solitary, a ghost in the jungle. To claim one must fall to the other is to ignore the majesty of both. And maybe that's the real answer. Not who would win, but why we keep asking. In the end, the question isn't who would win, but why we feel compelled to pit two legends against each other. Lions and tigers evolved worlds apart. The lion, born of sun-scorched savannas, shaped by pride and open confrontation. The tiger, a creature of shadow, silence and solitude, molded by dense jungles and stealth. They are not rivals by nature. They are kings in their own kingdoms. Their paths were never meant to cross. Only in cages and arenas have they been forced into conflict, and it's in those unnatural encounters that we lose sight of their true greatness. Today, both lions and tigers face threats far more dangerous than each other: habitat destruction, poaching, human encroachment, and the slow erosion of the wild. Their numbers are falling, their reign is slipping, and yet we still debate which is stronger, while forgetting that both are vulnerable. Perhaps the real lesson isn't about which predator would prevail in battle, but whether we, as a species, can rise to protect them before it's too late. These aren't just animals. They're living symbols of nature's majesty, of raw beauty, of power that doesn't need to prove itself. If this story stirred something in you, curiosity, awe, or respect, then let it be more than just a tale. Support wildlife education. Stand behind conservation efforts that protect these majestic predators before they vanish from the wild. Like, share, and subscribe to keep these stories alive. Because the more we understand, the more we can protect. And remember, in the end, it's not about who would win, but whether we let either of them lose.